What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. It's time to talk to our guy, Nick Underhill from neworleans.football. Nick _Underhill. A great resource for all of your Saints coverage there is neworleans.football. Been a proud subscriber for years. Videos, pods, the written word, it is all there for you. And obviously a ton to get to today. The NFL draft just happened. So been very busy times over there in New Orleans on football land. Nick, what's up, man? Have we started to find our bearings again after the draft madness?
Yeah. Kind of cool that they finally have a direction. Seems like maybe I don't know if clarity is the right word at quarterback, but it feels like there's a direction there. So definitely feel like I know where the team's going now, whereas maybe a week ago I wasn't quite as sure. So yeah, definitely starting to get some bearings back.
So again, my one thing I wanted to see them do was to pick all the picks. They did that, like that. But let's start then with Tyler Shuck, because you have been out there, Nick, and it's a question that we played around with today. So I'll just ask you it. Is Tyler Shuck QB1 for the New Orleans Saints?
At some point this year, I mean, 100%, I would say I would almost place a strong bet on week one. I mean, you got to see how he picks things up and everything, and you never know how that's going to go. But I would be pretty shocked if he's not the starting quarterback pretty early in the season. I mean, they picked him at the 40th pick. I know everybody's still high on Rattler and all that, and I get that. I see potential there myself, but one guy was picked 110 picks higher than the other. That kind of tells you where the league thinks about him, regardless of what we think about him. The one guy was the handpicked quarterback of the head coach who's going to build his offense from scratch and could go any direction he wanted at ground zero and build it up around him. He picked Tyler Shuck for that. He had one quarterback in the building. He drafted the other one 110 picks higher than the other one to come in front of him. I'm a little surprised, actually, like in the fan base. Normally, I feel like I understand the conversations and I'm with them and I see that point of view. I am a little bit shocked that there is a thought process and I wouldn't even say a small part of the fan base. I would say it's loud, like a loud percentage of the fan base thinking that he is not going to be the starter, and they're surprised to hear that there's thought process behind it. I'm baffled that there's even a question about it. Maybe a couple of weeks into the season, but at some point, even if it gets 25, like even if Rattler's ahead, even if it's close, they're going with the guy that they picked and envision as their starter long term here. I don't get the conversation, and I don't get it. I'm blown away by it, honestly.
Well, there is the element of Mickey Loomis said if Derek Carr's healthy, he's the starter. But what is the latest on Derek Carr's health? Do you expect him to play this year?
I don't. I mean, I think it's done, and if it's not done,
This is pretty shocking. Wait, you say you think he's done in what way? Done in a Saints uniform and they eat the dead money, or done in that he just won't play but he'll be on the roster this year?
Done in the sense of one way or another. I don't expect to see him again in a Saints uniform.
Wow.
I think if he was going to do the thing where he was going to play the part of like, oh look, I'm injured and I'm gonna show the league that I can be the mentor to these young quarterbacks and I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it and I'm going to be there. And, I think if it was like some sort of like manipulative thing, like that would be playing out right now. And honestly, I think he's missing an opportunity not doing that. Like if you want to play hurt and get your money, show up and be the mentor and rebrand as this like great teammate and the willing resource into the back half of my career, you could pay me to come in and I'll be the good quarterback and I'll help the young guys on your team while also playing. Like he could be doing that. He's not. I think it's done and I think it should be done. I mean, look, I know there's a lot of stuff going on, and like I understand it, and I sympathize with his situation, all that stuff. But like, there's still the base core fact, regardless of everything else, that he wanted out of here, and he's not here right now. And look, Like, I get he's got stuff going on at home and everything, but like, just I don't know. Like, it's fine. Be there. You don't have to be here right now. But it just feels like everything's shrouded in mystery and doubt, and it's all still very, very, very weird to me. And it might just be that a weird guy's handling the situation weirdly, and that's fine. But what I don't understand is on day one, what was it, April 11th, April 10th, this thing breaks, it comes out, and very easily somebody on Derek's side of this could have just said, hey, like, this is on background. Derek has a shoulder injury. He went outside to throw a ball, and it bit on him. It was related to last year's injury. And, look, he's got a family situation going on right now that we don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
But that's all going to be found out later. And everyone would have been like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, no one's coming out here
true.
and being like, this is weird. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't add up. But instead, the messaging that was coming back at that time was Derek tried to do everything he could to help the team. And, well, like, we'll see how this thing plays out. And it's like, what do you, like, so even then, it still sounded like a contract thing at the time. So it just doesn't – it's still weird to me. And maybe it is all this other stuff, and it was just handled terribly. I would say that, you know, my honest criticism of the Carr camp is that from very, very early on in this thing that I felt like a lot of the communication and, you know, the way his personal PR team, not the Saints PR team, his personal PR team handles things, was very weird. Like, I'm not going to like get into it, but there was like some weird situations with us and him before he ever stepped foot here. And it was just like, I've been doing this for 15 years, and some of the conversations I was having were just completely like, it just, none of it made sense. So that might be the genesis of this. It might be exactly what he stood up there on the stage and said it was. And now it's just been handled very weirdly in a way that's very illogical, and they let it spin out of control. I think that's at least a little bit possible, but regardless of that, I think he has a shoulder injury, and I think either A, he's going to shut it down and get surgery, or B, he's going to find his way out of here and rehab it and get healthy for someone else. But I just can't – you're asking me to predict it. I can't see him playing right now, and I don't see the reason for letting him back at this point. I mean, like, he wanted out. You're building a new culture. You just drafted the successor quarterback. I just don't think he's the right guy for that situation.
What are the financial ramifications, Nick? Because that's the thing, right? Oh,
I would pay $40 million not to have him here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Nick,
I would. It just feels like that's where it's at.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Okay, because Cleveland selects 2 quarterbacks in this draft, and everyone was asking me, okay, what about Deshaun Watson? I said, well, the Browns are just going to work like he doesn't exist. There's not a lot they can do, right? There's not a lot they can do with that contract. You can't trade him. They are going to work as if he's not a human being. What, like, is that how they're going to treat Derek Carr? Like, do you think they'll actually lose the $40 million? Like, give us, like, every option that you can see playing out that's realistic for Derek Carr. Like, are they going to just operate like Derek Carr isn't around the building? There's no chance, like, even though he's on the team? What are they going to do?
Well, I mean, look, they already lost, right? I mean, like, he got this restructure, so the money's all guaranteed. He had an injury guarantee before, so the money was already all guaranteed. So all he ever had to do was say, hey, I got an injury and I can't play, and my second opinion says this. And you know, what are you going to do? Like, you can battle it, and sometimes teams win those, sometimes they don't. But, you know, that's just kind of, like, you're stuck this year. Like, you aren't getting that money back right now. There was a guy, I think that went to, like, arbitration with Nick Fairley one year, and, like, something happened. Like, there's ways to do it and ways to try to get the money back. But, I think you've lost that battle at this point already. So the most likely outcome here to me is that somehow you come together and you have some type of, like, injury settlement, and you pay him X amount of dollars, and he agrees to walk away, and, like, you just settle at a number. So there is no battle. There is no anything. And I think that's probably, to me, everything points, and I'm just reading tea leaves here. Like, this isn't like, oh, hey, like, I think this is going to happen. And then I actually know, but I can't say it. Like, no, I just actually am, like, guessing and reading tea leaves here.
Yeah.
I think the silence on kind of both sides of this is trying to keep it at a amicable place so that there is a possible resolution at the end of it. Because I still think, look, all this stuff, like, it could be a real injury. All this stuff could be real, but I still think at the end of this, the desire is to not be a part of this team. he moved out of here. Like, he took his kids out of school. He left. Like, he's moving as an individual, and then tried to find his way out of here contractually. He's moving like an individual who is done here. And like, I think that's what he wants. And again, until Derek comes out and says something, shows up to camp and does interviews, like, people are going to fill in the blanks, and that's just the way it's going to be. Like, when there's no information, people talk, like, and then thoughts fill in the blanks. And I could be completely wrong on that, but it looks that way, and it's impossible to say it looks any other type of way. So, yeah, I mean, look, as far as the options, like, he goes and you have an $80 million dead money hit, really is what it is. And it's just, you cut him after June 1st, and, it splits up a little bit. You don't have to pay it all at once. But I mean, I think if there is no resolution, they're just on the hook for this money. So then it becomes like, hey, can you trade him? Like, can you get anything for him? And I don't think you get a good pick for him, but maybe you get like a 5th or a 6th or something, move him out, or you cut him and move on, or he's just, this weird figure that's on the ledger but not seen and is hurt and is rehabbing back in Fresno, and he's just kind of gone. Like, one of those guys that get brought in during camp and tear an ACL, and they're just on the list the whole year, and you never see him again because, like, it's over at the end and there's no point for him to be there, and they want to rehab on their own.
All right.
I think that might be the outcome here.
All right, so real quick, Nick, with the dead money, that'd be $80 million spread over 2 years. That'd be against the cap.
Yeah, so like, I think it would count, like, I don't know what it would be. Like, I'd have to look it up, but yeah, it would spread out over a certain amount of time.
Okay.
Post June 1st, I think it'd be like 20 this year, and then the rest is remaining after that, and it kind of split up like that. You do have, like,
sorry, go ahead.
No, like, they have like a cap surplus right now of like 20-some million. If they don't spend it, you can roll that over. So like, that could be basically used to kind of pay off some of that debt ahead of time. So like, the restructure money cap wise isn't necessarily lost if you don't spend it. You can essentially save it and roll it over and kind of end up in the same place.
All right, and last one on this, and then I want to ask you about Shuck, but this restructure looks just like kind of crazier and crazier. I took it when Mickey Loomis was asked, did they do a physical before the restructure? He said restructures come in all forms or something along those lines. Did they? Is that rare? Is it bad business by the Saints to not do it? Because I got the feeling they did not do a physical on Derek Carr. Maybe to call it something like this. Like, just why in the world did they restructure?
So the physical does not matter because he had an injury guarantee. So,
okay.
Like, if he comes in and says, I'm hurt off this play against the Giants last year, the money's guaranteed anyhow. So, like, that doesn't matter. So, really, if you think about it, like, you take a physical at the end of the season, you take a physical at the start. Like, if nothing's found at the end of the season, that's where I think this gets weird. Because they did a physical, like,
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now, like, if you do one at the end, you do one at the start, and injury happens in the middle, we see them all the time about, like, non-football injuries, like stuff that happens in between, and are they going to void his contract and all this stuff? And sometimes it happens. But this one in particular, it does not matter because he had the injury guarantee. But I would say, like, I think on a global scale, like, what it did for me is it opened up my eyes to the fact that, like, it is risky. Like I never thought about it before because it's like, well, he wasn't hurt at the end of the season, so he's fine, and then they take the physical at the beginning. And I think that is kind of generally safe. But if somebody wants to raise an issue, or if, like, somebody has ulterior motives and I'm not saying Derek does, I'm just saying if you had a guy that just kind of wants to put you in a bad situation and doesn't want to play but wants his money, or gets pissed off about something, or is pissed off about the restructure, like, you kind of are exposed a little bit. And I had never even considered that possibility before because, like, you just assume most of these guys are getting paid, $20, $30, $40 million, and they want to play, and they want, they're going to show up and do it because, like, not doing it means you're risking your money or you're risking your future, marketability on the job market. So, yeah, I mean, it is something, though, that I think going forward, you got to look at it and kind of look at that practice, and especially on people that don't already have their money guaranteed. But again, Derek's money was guaranteed no matter what. So I think that one doesn't apply here. But overall, yeah, I mean, I think there's a gray area here that you need to make sure that you are protecting yourself against going forward.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.